Miss Rosie.
Whoops, I was on mute.
Um,
What's up?
I have a wiggly tooth.
Ooh, wow.
And I have the Snow Day book.
Cool. It's such a good book. It's one of my favorite books ever. Okay, so this story, so we are coming up to a holiday here in, oh my gosh, like a week. Geez, where does the time go?
Thanksgiving
Thanksgiving.
book.
Who knows what Thanksgiving is? What is Thanksgiving? Abby.
It's a holiday that you eat so much food and you eat food and you have turkey.
Yeah, and who knows where it came from? Does anyone know where it came from? Ben, where did it come from?
Well, I don't know where it comes from, but I do but we do a special tradition for Thanksgiving.
What do you do, Ben?
We do if you get the number 11, which I got last year, you get to steal any present you want.
You get to do what?
So there's cards that have been randomly picked.
Okay.
And then if your card has a 11 on it, then you get to steal any present any gift that you want.
Oh.
Here.
I see. Okay, cool. So Thanksgiving, the word thanksgiving, the root of that is about giving thanks, right? Giving thanks. And there's like a few different stories about Thanksgiving, and the story that what I'm going to tell you about is some truth about Thanksgiving, but what we're really going to do is we're going to celebrate. Look at him. Okay, Jerome. What do you want from me? I think he wants pets. Do you want pets? So bad that you're going to come on to Zoom. Okay. So,
It was girly.
what's that?
It was girly.
She's just right down there. She's sleeping on the ground. Okay, so there's like the real Thanksgiving, okay? And then there's like how you celebrate Thanksgiving with your family. And then what we're gonna do in kindergarten is we're gonna celebrate indigenous people. So people who were on this land or the lands first before us. So the real Thanksgiving, the original story, is that there was America. It wasn't called America, and it was broken up into different states, and all of these states have had people on them, indigenous people, okay? People who had lived here for a really, really long time, okay? They were people who were like in our area in Tahoe, we have the Washishu Tribe. Do you remember them? The Washishu Tribe. So the Washishu Tribe, they were here first before a lot of other people, okay? And then there's also the Paiute Tribe, and they were here first before a lot of people. They knew how to live off the land. So they knew about the seasons, and they knew where to go if it got cold, and they knew where to go if it got hot. They knew where to find food when there wasn't any food. Okay, they knew about the land. Just like, do you know about your backyard? Do you know about your backyard? Do you know where maybe there's a squirrel that lives, or maybe there's a place where there are certain types of plants or flowers? Do you know some things about your backyard? Is that true? Willow and Abby, do you? Do you? Yeah. What do you know about your backyard? Who wants to tell me something? Willow, what do you know about your backyard?
I know something about my backyard. It's snowing in my backyard. It's like seriously snowing at my house.
That's about the weather. That's not about your backyard.
Got it.
What is something specific about your backyard?
Trees
Ben.
and a play.
Ben.
I know where to, in my backyard, I know where to find my tiny sandbox.
So you know where to find your tiny sandbox. Yeah, totally. So no more, we're not going to answer that question for anyone else because we got to move on because of time. In our backyards, we know a lot of things. So the indigenous people knew a lot of things about their backyards. So a long, long time ago, people from England did not want to live there anymore because they couldn't be themselves. So they came on ships across to like the East Coast, like, you know where New York is? Have you ever heard of New York? Like that area-ish over there. Came over there. They had nothing. They didn't know anything about that backyard. Does that make sense? They didn't know where the food was. They didn't know what they could eat. They didn't know how to build anything. They knew nothing. And so, who do you think may have helped them know things about the land? Willow.
I was trekking.
Oh, man. Okay, Ben.
The indigenous people.
The indigenous people, which had different names. I don't know what the names are of those of that tribe up there. Like the tribe that's near us is the Washishu. Okay? So, this is important information. I know it's a lot of listening, but it's really important to listen to this, okay? So they helped them. They helped them learn how to hunt. What do you think they hunted? Turkeys. And they helped them learn how to grow beans, corn, squash, and lots of other things. Okay, now that is the like original story of where Thanksgiving came from. Okay, unfortunately, in the long time, the people that had come over from England didn't treat the indigenous people so nicely. Okay, and they took their land and they had different sicknesses and they gave them certain sicknesses. That's a long history that you can actually ask your parents about. I'm not going to go so far into that right now. Okay, so what we're going to do is celebrate, right, Jerome? Jerome wants to celebrate with us too. Look at him. Jerome, are we going to celebrate? We're going to celebrate some indigenous culture. Okay, so I want to tell you a story. And it is called The Legend of the Three Sisters. And it is from the tribe of the Iroquois. Can you say Iroquois? Iroquois. You may draw while I read. You can draw from the story. Okay, so if you need to go get something to draw with, feel free, okay? Don't just go ask your parents to do it. Get up if you want, but you don't have to, okay? You don't have to. Okay, and when you're ready, just give me a little thumbs up. Who remembers the name of this story? I just said it. The Legend of the Three Sisters. What do you think it's about? The Legend of the Three Sisters. What do you think, Abby?
I think they're three witches.
Oh, ooh, I wish.
My mom has a book, and it's about two sisters that are two nice witches.
Oh, I like that. I love witch stories. Okay, Maisie, what do you think it might be about?
Sisters not getting along.
Maybe. Okay, I am going to read the story. It doesn't have pictures. Okay, this is rewritten by my mom, actually. She rewrote this story. Okay. So, and I want to know what you think. Okay, so many hundreds of years ago, only indigenous people lived on the land we now call America or North America. There were many villages and families, and one of these groups called themselves, and I can't say this name right, Haudenosaunee, or the Iroquois Nation. They lived on the east of the land, close to the Atlantic Ocean. In one of the families, there were three sisters who loved each other so very dearly and spent most of their time together. They loved to grow food for the family, and they lived in a big family house called a longhouse with their mother and father, grandparents, aunties, uncles, and cousins. And you may want to start drawing some of the things that you're seeing in your mind. Okay, who's not on mute here? I'm muting somebody. All right. Bean Girl was the youngest of the three sisters. She loved to run, climb high, and play hide and seek in the green meadows and woods around her home. Since her favorite color was green, she often found green plants to eat and share with her family. Her hair grew in long, wild wisps that softly curled around her face because she did not want to tie it back. Have you ever seen a vine of a bean? Have you ever seen beans on a vine? They grow in these like long, curly wisps. And so her hair was like the vines of beans. Okay. Cornwoman was the oldest sister because she was very tall. She loved to stand in the fields and look out as far as her eyes could see and notice all that was happening across the land. She wore a dress of green and light yellow layers. Her hair was very long, straight, and silky. She loved to make and wear necklaces from dried corn seeds that came in many different colors. As the oldest sister, she felt she needed to keep watch to protect her younger sisters and her family. Squash Girl was the middle sister. She loved to wander about the garden and make sure that all the plants stayed cool in the hot sun and that they had enough water. She wore her favorite billowy dresses in colors of yellow and orange. She liked her hair in a bun. Have you ever seen a squash? They're kind of like a little bun. So she likes to put her hair in a bun. She was very She was very protective of her sisters and her family and made sure they too had water and shade in hot days. One day, Bean Girl heard the elders talking as she wandered by their meeting circle. Who knows what an elder is? What is an elder? Raise your hand. What's an elder? Does anybody know? Who wants to make a guess? What's an elder?
Miss Rosie, I don't want to draw.
You don't have to? Do you know what an elder is, or do you want to make a guess of what an elder might be?
I have no clue.
No clue. Anyone want to guess? Willow.
An elder is an old person.
An elder is an old person, an older person. Yeah, like you're, or someone who has a lot of experience doing something. So like your parents or your, even me, or like grandparents. They don't necessarily have to be old, like in their age, but just to have had a lot of time doing something. Okay. Okay. So the elders had gathered around a fire in the late afternoon, and Bean Girl listened as the elders said that their people must move away quickly because a new group of people who had crossed the ocean were coming to take away their land and fight them. It was not safe to stay and fight the new people. What do you think about that? Thoughts about that?
Well, I know what they have since they couldn't build anything.
What?
Then
What?
they only had guns and stuff.
Who had guns?
Oh, it's high school.
The people who
college,
were going
and
to try to take over the land, the new people.
Yeah, the new people had guns. Do you think the indigenous people had guns?
Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to email me.
No. The indigenous people did not have guns. So that's an important thing to think about, I think, in all of this. Okay. This talk frightened Bean Girl, and she ran to find her sisters so she could tell them what she heard. She found her oldest sister, Cornwoman, standing in the garden. Cornwoman had been looking out across the land and had seen her little sister running to her. Bean Girl ran to her sister and hugged her tightly and told her what she had heard. Cornwoman stood strong and hugged her little sister back and listened to her. Squash Girl came next and took both of her sister's hands to form a circle. The sisters made a plan to help their people. What do you think they're going to do? What are they going to do to help their people?
I don't know, but they could try to make. But I'm wondering if they're going to try to make something to help.
Are they going to try to make something to help? Awesome, Ben. Does anyone else have another idea of what they're wondering? What might the sisters do to help their people? Abby? Do you have an idea? Can you go off mute?
I think they might move.
Maybe they're just going to move. What do you think, Willow?
I think they're gonna protect them.
They're going to protect them. Do you know how?
Maybe with they're gonna help them.
Maybe they're going to help them. Do you know how?
Well, maybe they're gonna help them with getting a stick or a stick, maybe.
Interesting. Maisie, what do you think?
I wasn't raising my hands.
I know, girl. I'm asking you anyways. Do you have something? If you don't, you can say, I don't know.
I said I'm not sure.
Okay, sounds good. All right, let's keep moving, okay? The three sisters went together to the family longhouse, and there they saw the elders packing to leave, and they knew it was really true. They must move from their beloved home. The next morning, early, the three sisters gathered with all the people in the village, and they began their long journey on foot, which means they were walking. Some of the people felt angry, some felt fear, and some felt grief, and they knew they must move fast to save their lives. And so they courageously set out to find a new home. During the first part of the journey, the three sisters began their plan to help their people. Cornwoman, being the tallest, would go ahead and look for the best path for everyone to travel on. Squash Girl, being very good at finding water and providing shade, did so for her people. The path was often hot and dusty, and the people would get thirsty from walking all day. And the Bean Girl still played a bit on the journey, running and climbing and exploring in the meadows and the woods alongside the path. And so she often found food growing that could be gathered and water to drink. And so this helped feed her people. It took the Iroquois people weeks of walking to find their new home. And when they finally settled again, they honored the three sisters who had helped them so greatly on their long, hard journey by planting a garden with seeds of corn, beans, and squash. It goes in a circle, so it's corn, beans, and squash in the middle. And it was called the Three Sisters Garden, or in the Iroquois language, Dio Ha Ko, our sustainers or spirit of the three sisters. This garden is planted all the way to this day. And that is the end of the story. What do you think about that? What do you think? What were your favorite parts? What was maybe even a problem, and how was the problem solved? Who would like to go? Favorite part. What was your favorite part? Abby.
I think is the whole story.
Do you have one favorite part?
I mostly like the end. I like the starting.
The starting and the end?
Both.
Ah, okay. Awesome. And who can tell me what was the problem that happened in the story? What was the problem that happened? Ben.
The new people tried to take over their land.
Yeah, and what was their solution?
They were going to move.
They were going to move. Yeah, and does anyone have a different ending to the story? If we could like add on to this story, what would you say could be a different ending or adding on to the ending? Does anyone have an idea for that one?
I do.
Yeah, go for it.
They could build their own home.
They could build their own homes. What else, Ben?
They could be there and let them take over, and then they would make something that could help them fight back and then return.
Yeah, they could do something like that. What else do you think, Willow or Maisie? How could the story have ended a little bit differently, or do you have a different idea?
I think I know.
What do you think?
Like maybe the ending what could have been they could have helped them and like protected their family.
Who could have helped who?
The sisters.
Their sister. Wait, who? What? Who could have helped who?
I understand it perfectly.
Oh, okay, Ben, explain, Ben.
Well, I think what Maisie is trying to say
Willow, what Willow's trying to say?
Yeah, you mean, it's hard to get the girls' names right. Yeah, it's really hard. And what I think they're saying is like they're going to like the sisters are going to help protect the huge city family.
Oh, yeah. One thought I had is I was wondering if they could have stayed and somehow not fought and like had a conversation.
Oh yeah.
So
that's kind of like what I was saying. Like build a secret base or something.
Yeah, and like but it was hard because of the gun issue that some people had that and other people didn't. And
yeah,
it's different, you know. It's like I was thinking about myself too. Like if I was really scared and I didn't have a weapon, I'd probably run. I probably wouldn't stay. Yeah, totally. So yeah, we're just gonna celebrate. We're gonna celebrate Indigenous people, okay? And I also want you to know that it's okay that you're going to celebrate Thanksgiving. Just because the beginning of of it is a little wonky, it doesn't mean that, like, you know, celebrating Thanksgiving now can be about family and about giving thanks. Does that make sense, friends? Yeah. Okay. So, any questions before we jump off? Abby.
Can we do exit tickets to show our pictures?
That's such a good idea. Yeah, not everybody drew. So, but if you would love to show your picture, go ahead. Do you want to go ahead, Abby? What'd you draw? You drew a turkey. Gobble, 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 gobble. I like the rainbow feathers.
Thank you.
Love it. What were you thinking about when you drew it?
Thanksgiving.
Nice. Who else would like to show their pictures? Willow or Maisie? Willow, do you want to? I think she's saying no. Okay, friends, so you can, when we get off the screen, you can do more drawing of this story. Think about bean girl, corn woman, and squash girl. If you want to draw pictures of what you think they might look like. Okay. All right, that's it. Any other? Oh, look at that, Maisie, you did it. Oh, you did that. The three sisters. Really cool. Awesome. Beautiful.
I made mine. See, there's the turkey, there's the tree.
I love it. So beautiful.
God you.
Okay, friends, I love you. That's it for today.